I wasn't a fan. You know, I'm a grown-ass man. You calling me dumb, we got a problem. I thought that was going a little bit too far. He did say on the back end of that comment that it's a reflection on the coach, but that was like an aside. 22 starters returned from the Super Bowl champion team. You brought them back. If they ain't up to snuff, it's entirely on you. Because we know they ain't dumb. They the reigning defending Super Bowl champions. Whatever ailments that they had last year, they figured it out in the second half of the season. You, Bruce Arians, with Tom Brady as your quarterback, playing at the level that he's been playing with, even though he wasn't that impressive Sunday, no doubt about that. His record as the head coach with the Arizona Cardinals, I'm sorry, with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers since Tom Brady has arrived is 24-17. That's not that impressive. You could be doing better. Some of it is on you. And so when I'm thinking about a veteran squad who's the reigning defending Super Bowl champion, clearly very experienced, and clearly cohesion is not a problem because you got 22 starters that returned, okay? Dumb is not the operative word, number one. Two, if it's applicable to anybody, it would be to you since you the coach. You don't have to play, so it's up to you to use your brain to figure it out. And three, what motivational tactics or lack thereof are you responsible for? I'm not saying he's completely wrong about how they need to check themselves and don't take anything for granted because as a coach, he has every right to say that. But I thought he went a little bit too far.
Yeah, I would disagree. I think BA, of all coaches in the NFL, probably has the pulse of his team about as well as you can have it. Okay. He and Mike Tomlin, I think, are probably my two favorite of really, and John Harbaugh, of addressing the true concerns of a football team. And he saw his team play a dumb football game against Washington, and it ate him up. And you saw Tom Brady in his press conference, like he didn't want to answer any questions, man. But pre-snap penalties, that's a freaking joke. You can't. And listen, we can say whatever we want about coaches. That's players. Like when you walk up to the line of scrimmage and you're making errors before the play starts, that's not really coaching. That's poor performance on the side of the players. I will say this though, when you looked at the game, the last 2 weeks that they've played, and when he talks about a lack of passion, I don't ever go there with guys because it's hard to judge like how hard guys are really playing, right? They're athletic. I mean, dudes all over the field, man, they can do some remarkable things. So I will say this, though. They did not play intelligently against Washington, and it showed up especially on defense. When a team can hold the ball for dang near 11 minutes to finish a game, and they have 3rd and 14, that's not coaching. He's put them in position to be, if they're at 3rd and 14, you got to execute. They did none of the above, and Washington continued to move the ball. So that part to me was disappointing, and that's probably the most concerning part that I have with this football team is everybody's looking for someone else to step up and make the play. AB and Gronk are out. We expect Godwin, or we expect Evans, or we expect, and we'll be just fine. If we get one stop, Tom Brady will take us back. But meanwhile, on the defensive side of the ball, it's not in concert. The back end of the defense and the front four are not working in concert, and that's showing up week after week, and that's how this thing has gotten off the rails.
And I would say I kind of agree with Jeff. It's not, I mean, he didn't single any one individual out. He didn't call one person dumb. If he'd have said Stephen A. was dumb, he did. Now I take issue to that. Coaches always say, we played dumb, we did things we shouldn't do, right. We're not smart as a football team. And then he took it on himself to say it starts with the coaches. Mm-hmm. Because certain things that they do start with the coaches. But he's not out there dropping footballs.
Right.
That's not him.
Yeah. That's
the players. That's the lack of concentration from those guys being able to do the things that got them to win the Super Bowl a year ago.
Got you.
So I don't really... It's not that big of a deal to me.
It wasn't that big of a deal. I just
really
didn't like
isn't.
when I heard it.
I understand.
You wouldn't hear that in the NBA. I think it's more of a football thing. Jeff, let me ask you this. Was this just a game? What's your level of concern with this Bucs team?
No, I'm concerned. Listen, when you think of the last 2 weeks, you lost to Trevor Siemian with the Saints, and the Saints kind of have their number. It's not a great matchup. It's all those kinds of things. But you lose to Washington football team that ain't the greatest show on turf.
But think
You know
about it.
what I mean?
But think about what's the Achilles heel to Tom Brady.
Yeah, I get you.
That's getting after him and getting him off his mark.
There's
and
no
that's
doubt.
what they got is that front seven.
But
that
the
put
issue,
pressure
that
on him.
offensive line is better than that. That's my problem with Tampa Bay. Their offensive line is better than that. Their receivers are better than that. Like the tips and the drops, those kind of things. And here's why. This is the same issue I had with Kansas City early in the season when everybody was like, oh, man, you're making a big deal of it. The details matter. And what has separated Tom Brady his entire career and what's separating the New England Patriots right now from other teams in the AFC is attention to details. And the Buccaneers do not have that. And so why is that concerning? Because you can't beat quality opponents in the NFL without attention to detail, and they don't have it.
Did they have it last year?
As after they came off the bye, which they just had,
They got better.
They were very sharp, and you could tell like they knew pinpoint accurate where we got to go, what we have to address. There was none of that against Washington. That concerned me because you're coming off a bye after a beating from the New Orleans Saints, which you shouldn't have had.
The part about it that doesn't overly concern me is 2 points. Number one, last year they struggled in the first half of the season, even though this is not the first half, it's the second half of the season. We're 9 games in, I get that. But number two, when you have an experienced squad that has championship credentials, what happens is that a loss like this could be exactly the wake-up call that you need.
Yeah, you better hope so, because it's a trap the other way. You know what I mean? It's a trap. You think you're this, hey, we're a vet team, we're going to depend. That's what I'm saying. Who are they going to look to make
Antonio
the
Brown's
plays?
missed 4 games.
Yeah.
Gronk's missed
hurt.
5 games.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm looking at it from that standpoint, but there's still Brake, there's still O.J. Howard, there's still Leonard Fournette. You still got Evans, you got Godwin. I just think that right now when you get some of that personnel back, I think it'll go a long way. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.